Agenda on Dubai Eye 103.8.
I just had a quick sip of my drink during the break. So nowhere near the desk, by the way, if any of our engineers are listening. The drink is well and truly over there. It's a lukewarm cup of tea, because normally by the time I get around to drinking it on the show, it's definitely cooled down. But it made me think about the next segment, and the simple thing is the temperature of what we drink, because the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer has just come out and classified hot drinks served at very high temperatures, so that's anything above 65 degrees Celsius, as a probable carcinogen, meaning it could cause cancer. And the concern isn't the tea or coffee itself, but the repeated exposure of the esophagus to scalding liquids, which can apparently damage the tissue and over time increase the risk of esophageal cancer. Now, globally, I didn't know this, but esophageal cancer is the 8th most common cancer and the 6th leading cause of cancer-related deaths. And in some regions, including our own of Asia, where people often drink tea or coffee piping hot, studies have shown significantly higher rates of this disease. But what about here in the UAE, where we drink coffee and carrot tea as part of our daily life? I'm joined now by Dr. Fatima Shahid. She's a UK-trained gastroenterologist at Emirates Hospital. Hello, Dr. Shahid. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hello. Hi, Katie. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, a very warm welcome to the agenda for you. I think it's your first time on our show. Can you just start by explaining what is the evidence that links hot drink exposure to esophageal cancer, and how concerned should regular tea and coffee and any other hot drinker be?
Thank you, Katie. I think this is a brilliant topic to be talking on, because a lot of the general population doesn't have that information. And my next question to you was going to be, how hot was your drink? But I'm glad you clarified that it was lukewarm by the time you came to it. So, there's been lots of studies happening on this topic for a very long time. But recently, there's been a big research with around 500,000 people in the United Kingdom who had repeated exposure to hot drinks, hot beverages, which is what we do day in and day out, caffeine. We live on caffeine with the current lifestyle. And the exposure to hot drinks on your gullet, that's your food pipe, and the risk of cancer that comes with it. And we know that esophageal cancer, which is cancer of the gullet, is a very common type of cancer, and it can often present late, unfortunately, where it has spread and people have been ignoring their symptoms for quite some time. So the two theories and the two hypotheses that the evidence brought forward was the way it can damage is repeated exposure to hot drinks destroys the lining of your gullet and eventually changes them to cancerous cells over many, many years. Another theory is that, yes, it damages the lining, and then there's repeated acid reflux exposure, which is also a risk factor for developing esophageal cancer of the gullet. So this is, now we have hardcore evidence on this. We've kind of known about it for over 90 years, but this is, more and more evidence coming along.
Exactly. I have to say, normally my hot drinks are lukewarm because I've got children as well. So it's also, I wouldn't have hot drinks around children, but by the time I get round to drinking them, they're never warm, sadly. It's very, very frustrating, but also very, very rewarding and reassuring based on this evidence. So you're saying it's temperature, but do other factors contribute, like the type of drink or its acidity? Does that play a role?
So, the main research is around not just the temperature, but also the quantity. Obviously, we know there are other factors, but mostly it's the temperature of the drink. Majority of the baristas, where they'll make your drink, it'll be well over 60 degrees. The hot coffees that come out of, your coffee shops are close to boiling temperature. And the first thing we do is take that drink it down. We've had the caffeine, not noticing what, you're not feeling it maybe as much in your mouth. By the time it's traveling down your gullet, it's a big, long food pipe. It is causing damage. It's very interesting that more than just the temperature, it's also the quantity that you're having. Some people may have one hot drink a day. That's enough for them. For myself, it's quite a few hot drinks a day. So there was this evidence published that people who are having more than 8 cups of hot beverages in a day, they are 6 times more likely to develop esophageal cancer. So, it's mainly the temperature of the drink and the quantity that you are consuming. And it may not be just, coffees and teas. It may be some people are having really hot food. They're having really hot soups. So, it's a whole list of things that we need to take into account.
We have an expression in the UK saying that you've been born with an iron throat, and that's somebody that is able to drink very hot drinks, and it's almost seen as a badge of honour. So my mum is one of them, so I'm going to be sending her this research straight after this interview. I'm interested to know about the risk compared to other common esophageal cancer causes, such as, say, smoking, alcohol or acid reflux.
So, yes, those are risk factors that we've known about for a very long time. They're risk factors, as you age, you're at a higher risk. Certain ethnicities are at a higher risk. Alcohol, tobacco, lots of acidity over time. Hot beverages have made it to the criteria now. That list of things that you shouldn't be doing is having hot drinks. So, yes, there are other factors, but definitely one thing to tell your mum is take it easy on the hot drink, especially if, that's the first thing she's going for, not waiting for it to cool down.
She's always one of those people that says extra hot, skinny. She's the barista's nightmare, absolute nightmare, the poor people. And if it's not hot, she sends, not hot enough, which is very hot, she sends it back. So definitely some food for thought for her there. Obviously, a lot of us, and I reckon probably many of us, if I asked for a show of hands, rely on hot drinks, tea, coffee as part of our routine. What's the safest way to consume them?
Katie, that's a very excellent question again, because, where do you draw the line? How long do you wait for it to be lukewarm? It's not ideal. Nobody likes a lukewarm drink. Obviously lifestyle may vary for different people. So ideal temperature, there is a study published in the United States. It should be below 57.8 degrees. And the way to do it is, let it cool down. Let it cool down for at least 5 minutes. If you don't have the time, and that's often the case with busy lifestyles, you're on the rush, you're on the go, get your barista. They can alter the temperature for you. And also, if not, they can add a bit of cold milk if you're in a rush, or a bit of cold water if you're having completely, black Americanos and things like that. Get that added. If you're in a safe place, this is very important. You can take the lid off, because the last thing you want to do is not just erode your gullet, but also erode the rest of your body. So make sure if you're in a safe place, you can take the lid off, let it stir it a little bit, let it cool down, and then you safely consume it.
And finally, I've just got about a minute left with you, Doctor.
Sure.
What signs or symptoms, I feel like we should touch on this, do we get with esophageal cancer? What should we be aware of, and when's the point to reach medical advice?
Thank you, Katie. That is probably the most important question. And it's a very important, very subtle signs. So the most important thing is if you have any even subtle problems with your swallowing, any part of your gullet, it's very important to get it checked straight away. It's not normal to have swallowing problems, even if you feel something is slightly getting stuck and going down. If you're having a continuous hoarse voice, you're losing weight, you're vomiting, you're getting nausea, those are the important things to get checked. If you're getting constant reflux, that's another risk factor. So those are the key things that you need to look out for. Obviously, the sinister signs, any changes to your weight, loss of appetite. Just get yourself checked straight away. Do not delay.
Thank you so much for that advice. That was the voice there of Dr. Fatima Shahid. She is a UK-trained gastroenterologist here in Dubai at Emirates Hospital. I'd love to get your opinion on this. How hot is too hot for you when drinking warm drinks? Like I said, for me, I'm quite happy with it lukewarm.
The agenda.